need. Let's see if we can get this. We do need. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get training again. We've got all these classes, 12 of them, all ready and set up, and we're going to do it in some themes to get people rocking and rolling again. The first thing we're going to do is some tanking. I love tanking. I've tanked for like 9 years in this game. I want to get back into it. I have a whole array of tanks in front of me. I'm going to do my first look on the Vengeance Demon Hunter. Several reasons for that. One, it's by far the most popular tank right now, so most of you are probably playing it, so we can pick up some tips along the way. Two, obviously it's part of the meta, so we're going to have an easier time just gearing this up and getting into groups and things like that, but we are going to do the other tanks. And three, it's the most fun tank. I've said that for many expansions now. This isn't a bottom thing by any means. It's been one of the tanks I wanted to get into as much as possible. So we have a problem, though, we need to deal with, and that is gear. We are 131, so let's fix that. And there it is. Okay, we are now 181. That seemed rather brief to you. So how did we do that? Well, you can see we have our legendary crafted, which means we did have to do Torghast. The absolute worst thing that I'm dreading about sorting these characters out is Torghast. This was a real pain in the ass. But we did do it. We managed to get our recipe, which did come from Torghast. I found out today that if your recipe comes from a certain area of Torghast, that you can do the endless twisting corridors and keep re-rolling it at the start to get the one you're after. And you only have to do it on like a +3, so you can do it on a pretty easy level. I went to the auction house. I spent around 100,000 gold, something like that. I picked the most expensive thing I picked up was a weapon. I managed to snag a ring really, really cheap. The rest of it is the 168 stuff that you can buy from the auction house, which is really quite nice. I have done some M+ already. We did some today on stream. We boosted my key, and I did not get carried, although, you know, yeah, okay, there was one good player in there. Now, I did buy one weapon, but we managed to get a glaive to drop while leveling. Some of you will remember that did happen on stream. And I picked up Dark Moon card really cheap. So that bypasses, and the reason I encourage doing this, obviously there's a couple of expensive pieces in here, like the weapon and this ring, which I got really lucky with this ring. It's super cheap on our auction house to pick up the 213 one. Lots and lots of them around. It bypasses normal and heroic. Normal and heroic farming. One of the biggest sadnesses I found during my leveling process of every single character was, in fact, the fact that people were spamming normal to get gear. And sometimes getting very frustrated on certain dungeons where you skip bosses. They were after items from bosses to try and get to then into farming heroic dungeons. The 168 stuff is really, really cheap. Like, super cheap. You should have enough gold from leveling to buy, like, a full set of 168 stuff. And just skip that whole process. Now, I know you're going to say the usual, which is you can't get into a Mythic Plus with that kind of gear. That has been proven completely untrue several times now. Just by doing it live in front of people. Is that we did this with my mage. Straight in. You're starting on +2s and stuff like that, but that's fine. And that's what we're going to do today, because I'm getting back into tanking. That's the whole point of this video. So let's see what we can find on our lobby character. So all I do is I just look for anything that's like +2, +3, and I'm just going to jump in and see if someone will invite us, ideally. Not many of these groups around anymore, but actually played with some really good people who were all 180-ish, looking to get into some groups. And turned out to be fantastic. Like, surprised at the quality of the players that we found. So there's a +2. The other side, but it has a tank. Lol. +2, +3 rush. Whatever. Not doing that. Let's refresh again. We might end up in a situation here where there's just not that many groups around. I've tried filtering by like +2, but it doesn't particularly help. Which is a bummer. I don't know why Blizzard doesn't do that. Theatre of Pain. Sure. Let's sign up for that. And we're in. There we go. Perfect. Yo. So we're going to head down there. So the reason I wanted to make this for TDP is, although it is a TDP, I did want to talk about tanking. I want to get into tanking. I'm going to do a tanking series where we'll cover some stuff in a bit more detail than what we're going to today. But considering we're in a dungeon here and we're still waiting for a healer, I'm going to fly over and continue once we actually get there. We're here. We've got everybody in. Excellent. Our druid friend decided he was going to heal instead. What an absolute legend. Are we in heroic? I set wrong difficulty. Okay, this is a common problem. These low-level keys. That's fine. Not wasted anything. All good. Now, a lot of people ask me about tanking and stuff like that. Now, tanking is one of those things that I recommend everybody do in some form or another. Even if it's only low-level dungeons like we're going to do today. for a number of really good reasons. One, you will have such a better understanding of how DPSing in World of Warcraft works and healing. You will start to understand the trouble with managing packs. And I often find that people who don't interrupt and shit like that don't really understand the problems it causes when people don't do it. And therefore they're like, oh, well, isn't somebody else deals with that? As a tank, you really start to pick up on that process. So we're going to start now. We're going to have some basic rules. I've been teaching this since forever when it comes to World of Warcraft. When you go into a Mythic Plus, and you're the tank especially, what's the first thing we assume? And that is that everybody is terrible and everybody is going to do something absolutely horrific. Including us, because we're still getting used to tanking, you know? So you really have to have that mindset, and you will have a much better time with what's going on in here. Believe me. It makes your life easier if you assume that people are bad. And then it can only get better from there. Because I find a lot of people worry about tanking purely from the perspective of, what if I fuck it up? Or I'm going to die. I mean, that wasn't even a lot of damage. I have done this on a +5. I'm surprised that died there. I mean, okay. We might be in for a rough time, folks. That's fine. We might be in for a little bit of a rough time. But we'll see. We'll see. I didn't pop meta. I could have. Let's wait. Our man's a shiny armor friend. There we go. Did I take that much damage there? That seems surprising. Okay. I'm a little wary. I just come out of a +7. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure it'll be fine. I have no doubt. So I'll just play a little bit more defensive, I guess. Let's purge this off. Good. That's on me. Let's keep our we'll fel dev after this Demon Spikes wears. That's fine. I'm playing defensively now. Let's put down a little silencer sigil on here. That might help us out a little bit. Let's purge this if we can. No, we can't purge that one. Unlucky. We have to eat through it. We will. Okay, good. Keep burning, people. Keep burning. Alright, we seem okay now. I don't know. I wonder, our healer just respects, so I kind of suspect maybe something happened there. Didn't get his key bindings right or something along those lines. Entirely possible. I mean, I could have meted, I suppose, but that wouldn't have been ideal. Let's put it that way. That would have been there. So we assume problems, right? So we pick up problems there, and then we adapt to it, just like I just did there. Like, okay, that was a little sus that we died there. We're not over-geared by any means, but we should have been fine there. But now we're adapting. We're going to play a little bit more safe. I'm definitely going to take the next few packs, like, safer. Yeah? Those kinds of... That's the kind of decisions I want you guys to make as well, because you'll just generally have a better time. It could be a little clue like that. Is like, oh, okay, we're just going to go a little bit safer going forward. And then we should be fine. We'll fel dev now, just to finish this off. Get in there. I always think it's the best way of playing. Honestly, I've had the most success doing exactly that. Is like, okay, piece of information, let's go. Our DPS looks... I mean, they're doing like my DPS, so... Okay. You know, we're all about the same gear level. I guess. I haven't actually inspected anybody, so I don't know. So we got a 161 healer. Okay. So maybe you just didn't realize how much healing you'd have to put in. 197 warrior, interestingly enough. Practicing, I'm guessing. Would have expected a bit more damage out of him. What have we got over here? And a 170 enhancement shaman. Okay, so all good. All good. So now we know what we're messing with. But tanking is the basics that we're going to go over today. This is the super basics. What we're not going to get into in like the next few days, but we will do during our actual tanking series once I've got a bit more comfortable with it as well. I have tanked for a very long time, but of course new expansions always have different rules that we have to learn and go along with. There's Savage Flurry, so we're going to attack into that. Hey little man, I'm just recording a video. You can go on VR after I finish recording my video, okay? Alright, buddy. Thank you. If you give me a few minutes, I'll be finished up.
This video of yours, does it have a screenshot?
Does it have any screenshots?
Yeah.
It does have some screenshots in it, yeah. But I'm just talking to the people, so if you could come back in a few minutes, that would be great, and then we could play some VR. Yes!
When can I go in the VR?
When can you go on the VR? Okay, I should point out here, this wasn't a sales pitch, but we are doing Half-Life Alyx tomorrow on the stream, if you want to come and check that out. But in a few minutes, boys, I'm going to finish recording this video, and then we can do that, okay?
Daddy, can
Yeah,
we
bud.
get new levels on VR?
Can you get new levels on
Yeah,
VR? You
yeah.
can. Yes, I have many new levels for you, okay?
Good.
All right.
Good, I want to do the hot dog one.
You want to do the hot dog
and
one?
serve hot dogs.
You want to serve... Oh, you want to do Job Simulator.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to serve hot dogs. You want to do the store clerk thing. Okay.
I'll get one of the hot dogs.
Awesome. Awesome.
And
All right,
then-
hey, I'll be with you in a few minutes, okay? I'm just going to finish this.
And do how he does.
Excellent.
I'll give it a milkshake in it.
A milkshake. Okay. Love you, buddy. Love you. Well, there it is. Okay. So, luckily, I probably lost focus there and did something a bit silly, but we seem fine. We seem fine. So we're not doing any ninja mega pulls here for obvious reasons. There's no real necessity to it. It's not. We're not going to benefit by doing that. So that's my strategy coming in here. You can see jumping into a new pack is going to lead us to have some situations that did not hit them, which is what I was hoping it would. I'm actually going to meta here because I'm getting pretty slammed. We've got full hots on though. Our healer's actually doing his absolute best here, which is fine. So we just have to deal with slightly lower gear. We're going to grip these together. Let's use chains. Oh, I only got the one. I still have to get used to chains range. Use tree as well. Yeah, that was a pretty spicy moment for our guy there. But coming back to it is our basic rules that we always follow when we're tanking, because people are terrified of tanking. I absolutely get it. People are absolutely terrified of tanking. Especially, I think a lot of it comes down to overthinking the tank role on your first time playing. That would be things like, I need to get the exact percentages right every single time. Even though I've not tanked the run, and I might have DPS'd that Mythic Plus like several times, but I wasn't paying much attention to the route. How do exactly the affixes work? Things like that. Now you'll notice in plus 2 you don't have much of that, and also likelihood is you're gonna Blizzard is ridiculously lenient, and I know people moan about the time and stuff like that all the time, but they are crazy lenient with how long you have to do the early dungeons, like compared to doing a safe, what we're going to do now, a very safe, relaxing route. You have all the time in the world. They're really generous with it. So that means that if you scuff up the percentage a little bit, it's fine. It's totally fine. All you need to think about is getting through the dungeon in a nice, safe manner. It's not about, you're not trying, I think people try and jump to being MDI players on their, like, first M+. Like, if I don't do it, like, now or whatever, then, you know, if I don't tank like Robin, then I'm failing my group in some way, or people are going to judge me. Now, that starts to happen later on, because ideally you will have learnt that stuff, right? That's the thing. Ideally, you will have loved that stuff. So our basics are going to be creating death balls. Death balls are a big thing that all tanks should do. We don't really need to kill this, but we're going to anyway. The death ball is getting every mob in every pack into one singular location. This is crucially important. It's actually insanely important that you practice each and every pack on how to do that. And it's one of the things I'm mainly practicing for myself right now, is learning these packs and how to death ball them. Because if you get that right, half your battle's done. It makes it so much easier to tank. So here, I actually had a bit of a sketch pull in here. I have done Theatre of Pain already today, so I'm actually going to pull these back. People seem more confident if we do that, so I'm going to run out, run back in. And I'm going to tag them. One of the biggest things I found with tanks recently is that they know that they're supposed to go in there, get mobs and come back, as an example. But what they don't do is they don't tag the mobs with anything. Just something to stop, like, a hot pulling aggro off you. Things like that. That is a bit of a dangerous play, because you want to hit them. Even if it's like a throw glaive or something along those lines. Just something just to tag them and get some aggro on them. It's really very useful to get done. So I'm going to pull everybody to here. Let them come out of line of sight. I'm going to let them come, and then I'm going to drop a Sigil of Silence, like this. And that should buy the healer enough time to sort of heal everybody up. I'm going to drop a Misery as well, just so they're stunned for just a second. Buys that bit of extra time. And then we'll go into it. You see how the group stabilizes? So I'm planning that from ages ago, is just to have that happen. I'm not saying this is the best strategy, but I'm saying this is something you can apply to any dungeon you don't know. Okay, and I want that to be really clear, because there'll be people like, well, you should go this way. Like this way here, I don't know, even though I've done this dungeon on 15 plus dozens of times. I don't know the exact left, right, whatever. I don't really care. That's not the point of information I'm trying to give to you guys, right? More the point I'm trying to give you guys is stuff that you can apply to literally every dungeon, so you never have difficulty. So, interrupting. See the way we're creating the death ball? Those first few moments of tanking something are the absolute most important when you pull a pack. So there it was. Arcane Torrent to remove their buffs. They're both caster mobs, so I'm going to interrupt one and then stand near the one I didn't interrupt, so they walk together. It's a really basic thing, but those 2 button presses, Arcane Torrent, interrupt, are the most important things to creating the death ball. Like here, this one's got a buff, so I'm going to charge in, I'm going to purge the buff, and I'm going to get everybody into one place, right? And this is my immediate couple of moves. I think a lot of focus goes into, I need to get maximum threat on absolutely everything super quickly. No, not really. Like, the threat will happen naturally, and Blizzard's pretty generous with the threat, honestly. They're pretty good about it. So we had a couple of deaths there. Our shaman died anyway during the old soul storm. It's a nasty pack. So we'll have to wait a second while he does that. So I'm going to grab this while our healer reses and maybe has a drink. All good. That's the death ball creation. It's hard. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's hard. It's hard to get it right on the correct pack. So the group's already gone, so I have to go with them because they may pull. I'm not sure what's at the other end of this. Okay, it's these two. So we're just going to wait for the healer to get here. Our healer's got low mana and he's got low gear, so we're not going to try and bully him or anything. Let's see if he has a drink before we carry on. His mana's kind of low. No, he's getting ready for the pull. Okay. So again, interrupting, pulling them over. Now these are a little trickier because they do the dead winds to pull them together. So we're going to use the Sigil of Silence in the middle. They're immune to the silence effect, which is a bit of a disaster. So we'll interrupt again and bring them together. Okay? So it might take 2 seconds interrupt, but ultimately what I want to do is this. And I want to do this for every single pack, unless there's an absolute serious reason not to. Because the effect it has having the group, every enemy is in one place in terms of speed, especially in the Mythic Plus environment, is just astronomical. It's absolutely astronomical. The damage difference you get from doing that. Our healer got knocked off, which is unfortunate. I'm going to watch to see if people start leaving. Okay, I believe this lands in a pack, so we're going to do this without a healer. I have to go with them, otherwise they're going to die. I'm going to use Meta up here. We've got a Bone Magus. Yeah, they pulled instantly. Okay, so my plan is to interrupt, pull them together. Now I'm going to worry about threat. Like, you guys taking a couple of hits, whatever, right? You went early, that's going to happen. I would like to stop the volley, but that's not going to happen right now. So, we're going to heal ourselves as much as we can with our Spirit Bomb, and we're good. Right, we're going to go to the last boss now anyway, so it's all good. Let's keep going. Hopefully they're going to be fine. Learning this is everything. I mean that. I mean it genuinely. Learning each pack and how to get them nicely clumped as quickly as possible, and you'll start to recognize why tanks get super frustrated at leaping mobs leaping out, especially enemies that leap to other players. Why that's so frustrating, and that's why I recommend everybody tank a little bit on something. Like even normal mode dungeons, you'll learn this stuff. It's just you'll start to get the idea. It's like, oh right, so if the range would just come and stand with us, we wouldn't have this problem. It would be solved. But as a ranged DPS, I often find, especially if they have no experience tanking, they don't think like that. They think they have to stay out at range. Whereas in many cases, not all, but in many cases, once you start tanking, you'll start to realize actually how much of a big problem this is and how much longer packs take. There's a good eye-opening experience when a group does things together as a team that is worth learning, in my opinion anyway. It's absolutely worth learning. And you won't really get that experience until you tank. You can't have that experience as a healer. It's just not going to happen. So it's worth doing it as a tank so you can have that knowledge and experience and pass it on to yourselves. Because, again, stuff for every dungeon. Right? Stuff for every dungeon. Another thing you'll notice is, although I'm not doing great at it because I'm still learning which bosses do what, is that a lot of the bosses in a lot of the dungeons, more than I actually realized until I started tanking again today, don't actually attack you that often. What I find is people, especially if they've got a nice weak aura package, they use their defensives and stuff the moment they come back off cooldown. That's a habit you need to break. Because you should be thinking about when to use your defensives. Like, later on, it changes the higher up we go. But you'll notice, like, here, see the mob's doing draw soul? He's not attacking me here. I don't need to have a defensive up here. I'm not, it's just wasted, right? Because the boss isn't actually doing anything to me. And what you'll see, and I've seen it in nearly every dungeon I've tanked today, and again, not all. I'm not trying to put out some claim about every single dungeon, but it's something you'll start picking up on more and more, is that there's huge gaps in enemies' attack patterns. There's these weird, giant gaps. Let's wait for our healer before we pull into here. And during that time, that's when you let your cooldowns reset. Because what's the biggest complaint I hear from so many people? Oh, how do you keep a cooldown up for all that time? And they're just using them as they come back up. It's like, well, it doesn't reset in time, right? Now, that's a genuine concern sometimes. Again, sometimes. But a lot of it is recognizing that mobs, when they cast, or are looking at someone else, are actually not your concern. You don't need to worry about them at all. So here's mobs that jump around. So I'm going to try and stick them in here. I'm actually going to drop a sigil of chains here, so I can drag some ideally there. Good. Let's interrupt this one and bring them in. I'm going to die here, and we've got a death, so yeah, not enough interrupts going on. Let's drop a sigil of silence. I can't interrupt that again. Let's try and heal ourselves. No, we are not getting it. Not going to be able to kite that either. Let's release and get back. I'm not sure if I pulled the other pack. I might have done. It might have been my fault. But we have a lot of sludge spewers here. This is kind of a spooky situation to be in. It might be worth wipe resetting here. Don't really have much in the way of things to help me. Let's just say reset it, dudes. Yeah, that withering blight is a big problem. Not release. I'm not sure if they patrolled into me. They may have done. They may have done. Oh, somebody... I didn't notice it while I was talking, whether someone shot something off to get a bit more trash in. Often... I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's often the case that I find for wipes is... A big example of this, actually, is Plaguefall. Have they pulled already? In Plaguefall, is people trying to rush, and they pull extra stuff. You know when you come down towards the spider boss in Plaguefall, the amount of people who are not geared for it and are not prepared for it and have no plan for controlling those enemies will pull. Because it's like, just pull both sides, lol. And that often leads... The most wipes I had while I was leveling was exactly that. Exactly that scenario. Is people doing that in there. Really, I could feel the annoyance of the other tanks. Let's drop a sigil of silence here. Let's chain them and stun them. Interrupt that one. Just do our best here. Manage these. This is a trick that Blizzard pulls all the time, by the way. They've done it more and more recent expansions. Is the most dangerous mobs are the smallest mobs. And they put the small ones with a big one. And they know that... they do this all the time now. They know people are going to go for the big one, right? They know that. People shoot the biggest enemy. That's clearly the worst one. And often it's just not. Blizzard is fully aware of that. So, again here, not being attacked. He's turning back to me now, so I'm going to fiery brand off the back of that. Let's move this guy away from here. Let's put our... Feldev up, move away. Let's give some room for our warrior. So this is another thing we need to consider as a tank, is not just ourselves. Again, it comes with time, but how many tanks do you see? Answer me this question, right? How many tanks do you see pull the mob slightly out of the green sludge just so they're not in it anymore? Like a DPS would, right? A DPSer would do that. They would move out of something so it's just outside of their range. Nice cap totem. Like that a lot. Really want to... the silence sigil is going to be a little too slow there, but it's what we can do. Could have gone a bit earlier with that. Let's heal ourselves. Keep ourselves nice and tidy. Our healer is So, I guess that's the other big thing I should point out here is to keep an eye on your healer. So our healer is out of mana, but I do try and give some time for this. Unless I'm doing a meme run, but I do try and give some time for the healer. I'm actually not going to pull the other trash. If we walk a few more steps, it's going to pull more enemies. I'm going to bring us up here to make this as safe as possible. So our healer is now completely out of mana. So I'm going to fiery brand this. Move over here. I'm going to eat. I tried. Oh man, did I try. Now we got an Earth Ellie. Oh my god. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I might be making it up. Maybe our healer feels he's fine, but I would not be happy right now with the DPS pulling. Let's watch them. He's not trying to drink, so I mean, it is what it is, you know? It is what it is. The Earth Ellie's putting in work though, so there's that. I no doubt we're having a mob turn around on me. I would not like to do this boss with no mana. Let me ask. Mana? Are we drinking? Nah. Oh, I take it all back. Our healer is fine. I'm glad I asked. Because apparently he doesn't want the mana. So, okay. Fair enough. I'll take it. I mean, whatever. So we have Hateful Strike here. So we've got Demon Spikes off the back of that. Try and grab these as we go. And move back over here. We can breathe all over them. Hateful Strike. So we'll Demon Spikes that one. Good. Try to stay in the efflorescence a bit. Our melee's got room around here. So that's what I'm judging right now, is trying to keep them reasonably small. Grab that one. And would like to grab the other one. Come here. We're going to taunt him in. Hateful there while I was running around, I'm sure of it. Yeah, we'll just heal ourselves up here. You got this. There it is. Demon Spikes on. Luckily I can hop around like a maniac here. Luckily we could get that done. Alright, let's move on to the last boss. But these are all the basic things that I attribute whenever I go into any dungeon at all. These basic things. Death balls. Try and keep an eye on your healer's mana. Try and pay close attention. I mean really close attention to any ability that just hits you, because it's likely, like, you can learn from that, right? In the higher end Mythic Plus, that is likely to be what kills you. That's where it's going to start ramping up, is those abilities, that Hateful Strike and shit like that. That's where it's going to go. And also just general stuff like position, all the goddamn time, man. You've got to be considering, where am I stood? Is this a good place or a bad place? And figure out from there what's might be better next time. How do I pull this pack? Did I have a problem with the pack? What went wrong with it? Could I have interrupted better? Could I have used an ability better? Do I need to save that ability for next time? Did I use it unnecessarily on a different pack? Something along those lines. Like here. So, I screwed this boss up today. I actually screwed it up by trying to do something a bit silly. And I always screw this boss up by being top down. Which is not good. So I'm going to open with the Demon Spikes here. I'm going to go into here. But what I can do is actually, hopefully now, somewhat, not redeem myself, but wait. So Reaping Strike. So we're going to Demon Spikes to Reaping Strike. And we're going to chill for a sec, because Dark Devastation is coming. So it's a nice easy one. What I want to have happen is the ads spawn, and then pretty much as they spawn, chains them all in together. So here's the rift. Right, it's over there. So ideally here. Right, let's drop a chains here, see if we can get a few of them. Yeah, we got a few. Okay. Not bad. I'm not going to silence these, because I'm going to silence the next pack. Well, let's move the boss out of here. Again, a bit further than necessary, so the melee have had plenty of room. Reaping Scythe. We've got Ghostly Charge. Let's move over here. We've got Dark Devastation at the same time, so we're going to move around. And if we do get these ads spawn, we'll go for a silence. But the boss is dead. Perfect. Did we get any items? That has been the big drawback of Mythic Plus. Plus 2'd it. No, we did not. We got Renown. It's legendary, it says, but it's not. There's a ring. We got a ring. We got a ring. A moot. Do you need? Let's see if we can get this. We do need. Same. Same. Slash roll. 82. 82. 87. Boo. 23. No loot for us today, but this is the first one we're doing is the DH. Lots to learn, lots to practice, but we're going to spend some time and get involved in that so we can get some good stuff out for you guys. Other than that, have a great day. I do have some thoughts on the initial gearing up process. I took a lot of notes today. And Half-Life Alyx tomorrow on stream. All right, so be awesome, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.